Coming up on Florida Man Sports, we are 2 games into the NBA Finals and one man has stood above the rest. Then, the College World Series has officially been set. All 8 teams are locked in and we know the matchups. And finally, I went to a Rays game yesterday. Stick around to find out why I'd mentioned that. Welcome back to Florida Man Sports. My name is Jacob Hopkins. We are 2 games into the NBA Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. Right now, it looks like a repeat of the 2018 NBA Finals where the Golden State Warriors swept the Cleveland Cavaliers. The similarity comes from LeBron James and Luka Doncic doing everything they can to carry an otherwise garbage team. LeBron averaged 40 in those first 2 games. So far, Luka's averaging 30. So, the comparison's there. To put it simply, Luka needs help. He had a double-double in Game 1, a triple-double in Game 2, and he's also the only player to hit multiple threes on the Mavs in either game. He's also the only player to score more than 20 in either game. And by the way, his number 2 option, Kyrie Irving, an NBA champion, has not hit a single 3. So far, the Mavs' best second option has been P.J. Washington. And who is P.J. Washington, you may ask? Exactly. And it's not even like the Celtics have played well either. They've averaged 14 points under their regular season average by putting up 106 points per game as opposed to their usual 120. And Jason Tatum, who's supposed to be the best player on the team, who's supposed to be this generational talent, hasn't even eclipsed 20 points yet in either game. So if the Mavs want any chance at winning the series, the entire team needs to play well, not just Luka. Now, as someone who hates anything Boston sports related, I genuinely hope that the Mavs can find a way to pull Game 3 out, because no team has ever come back down 3-0 in a 7-game series in the NBA. Game 3 is set to be played tonight at 8:30 in Dallas, so hopefully that home crowd will propel them to a win. Now let's go ahead and move over to the College Baseball World Series. Super Regionals have wrapped up and all 8 teams are set. So let's just dive right in and talk about all 8 of them. Let's start off with the first matchup of the World Series, the number 12-seeded Virginia Cavaliers and the 4-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels. Virginia is coming in with a great offense. Their entire lineup as a whole is batting .330. That is second in all of college baseball. However, North Carolina may have an answer for that. They come in with great pitching with a 4.22 ERA, which is 15th in the nation. The next matchup is the number 8-seeded Florida State Seminoles and the number 1-seeded Tennessee Volunteers. While Florida State has not lost a game yet, they've gone undefeated in the regionals and in the super regionals. They are super outmatched in all categories against Tennessee. Yes, they are top 10 in team batting average and in team ERA throughout college baseball, but that is nothing compared to what Tennessee is. They are top 5 in batting average and in ERA amongst college baseball, and Tennessee has been consistently at the top of the rankings for the last 3 years. So some of those sophomores and freshmen who were there 3 years ago, they're out for blood. They're the team of destiny. Our next matchup is the number 10-seeded North Carolina State Wolfpack and the number 2-seeded Kentucky Wildcats. Now, I struggled to find any reason that NC State was seeded so high or ranked so high, or even why they're in the College World Series to begin with. The only thing I could remotely stumble on was the fact that they are 33rd in home runs amongst college baseball. Outside of that, they just find a way to win games. Now, yes, NC State's offense is good, but they are nothing compared to the dominance that Kentucky's pitching staff has showed in their last 4 games. They have allowed 3 runs over their last 4 games. That is unheard of, especially in college. And to make things a little bit more special for Kentucky, this is their first appearance in the College World Series in program history. Our final matchup of the College World Series is the Florida Gators and the 3-seeded Texas A&M Aggies. Now you may notice that I didn't mention a number before I said the Florida Gators. That's because they're the only unranked team left in the tournament. Now yes, that would obviously be a disadvantage for them. However, they've been there before. Last year, they were the runner-ups in the College World Series when they lost to a stacked LSU team. And let's not forget, they have Jack Caglione, who is last year's Golden Spikes finalist and is referred to as Jack Cagliottani because he's a left-handed pitcher who can sit a 98 and also led college baseball in home runs last year and was second this year. However, let's not forget about the Texas A&M Aggies. They are coming off of two really good comeback wins against Oregon, where they were down by 3 runs pretty early in the game and found a way to come back. And then let's also not forget about Evan Aschenbeck, who is leading college baseball with a 1.6 ERA. We're talking Bob Gibson numbers. This guy has been insane all year long. At the beginning of the show, I mentioned that I went to a Rays game yesterday. Now, the only reason I would mention that is if something really cool happened that was noteworthy and was worthy of being talked about on the Florida Man Sports. So let's hop right into the bottom of the 9th, where the Tampa Bay Rays were hosting the Chicago Cubs. The score is 2-1 as the Cubs bring in Hector Neris to try to lock down the save, as he leaves a fastball down the middle for Richie Palacios to hit a double off the wall. That will be a leadoff double for Richie Palacios and his second hit of the ball game. The Rays are now in prime position to tie this game up and possibly send it to extras. By the way, Jose Siri will go down looking on a fastball right down the middle in typical Jose Siri fashion. But it's okay. Ben Rortvedt can watch a pitch and it will be a walk. So there are 2 runners on, 1 out, and Jose Caballero will pinch hit for Randy Arozarena. He is sawed off. That ball's going to fall into center field over the glove of Nico Horner. Richie Palacios will score. We are knotted up at 2. The Rays, who have been silent all night long, have finally shown signs of life. Yandy Diaz, 0-2 count. He swings and misses at a splitter. 2 down now. But it's okay because Brandon Lowe is coming up in a full count with 2 outs. The moment that every little kid dreams of. Goodbye! Brandon Lowe hits a no-doubt shot to right center field. Ball game over. Rays fans leave happy. Final score, 5-2 on the Brandon Lowe walk-off home run. That will snap a 4-game skid for the Rays as they did just get swept by the Orioles. But hey, things are looking up. So I'm sitting there out in right field, enjoying the fact that we just tied up the game, but also knowing we're probably going to extras. Brandon Lowe's probably going to strike out. There are 2 outs, so that would end the inning. And then Brandon Lowe just hits a no-doubt shot to a couple sections to my right, might I add. And all of a sudden, my night has been made. That is the best Rays game I've ever been to in my entire life, and it's not even close. But for Florida Man Sports, my name is Jacob Hopkins. I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. And remember, it's not stupid if it works. Have a good day, everybody.